This build is hecking fast. How hecking fast, you may ask? What about this fast? Nah, much faster. We're getting close now, but I said hecking fast. Yeah, that's better. Doesn't this look like a goddamn fun time? Hell yeah. I call it the Shred Blaster 10,000, since you'll be blasting tens of thousands of mobs with Shred using this build. So who is this build for? It's for anyone that enjoys having fun. So if you enjoy having fun, then stick around. It's also for anyone that wants to be fast as heck and want to speedrun nightmare dungeons with ease. This build is the fastest build in the game. If you don't trust me, then ask this guy. Alright folks, so how does this build work? The build is simple, yet beautiful. First off, it uses Shred to dash around everywhere. This grants you unlimited teleports, which is sick. To do insane amounts of damage, it stacks poison damage and uses Aspect of the Blurred Beast to one-shot everything in its path. It also uses the Stormclaw aspect to explode AoE damage on everyone nearby. So what do we need to make this build work? First off, we need the Tempest Roar. Before you click away, however, this build also works without it. That's because Shred is an awesome werewolf skill, unlike builds such as Tornado. So if you can't get this, you can still run this build with any other helmet. What about the chest then? If you are a huge Sigma male such as myself, there is only one option. That is Mad Wolf's Glee. The damage you get from this item is insane, and it also grants you movement speed with is crazy good. Alright buddy, let's look at the gloves now. For stats, we need the following: crit chance, lucky hit chance, attack speed, and ranks to Shred. The most important here is ranks to Shred, so make sure to get it, damn it. For aspect, we choose the Stormclaw's aspect. This aspect grants you AoE damage, allowing you to delete entire screens of mobs. Now it's time for the only boring part of this build, which is the pants. You probably know why these are boring. You're exactly right. We need defensives on them. We stack as much damage reduction and armor as possible by using the following stats: damage reduction while fortified, total armor, and damage reduction from poisoned enemies. Close damage reduction is also a good stat, but since we don't want to get one shot from a distance, we only take this stat if we can't find the others. Being one shot from a distance sucks, am I right? For defensive, there is only one option, and that is Aspect of Disobedience. This grants us the armor we need to fight high-level monsters without dying. For gems, we need DR while crowd-controlled, because being crowd-controlled sucks. Onto the boots, my friends. To be fast as heck, boy, we need movement speed on our boots, as well as max ranks to evade. Unless we want to die, which we don't, we also need total armor while in Werewolf. Other than these very important stats, we should look for spirit cost reduction and willpower. Movement speed after killing elites is also a sick stat. For aspect, we choose Stormshifter's aspect. Why is this? Well, let me think. Yeah, because it's goddamn good. It grants us 2 ranks to our Shred ability when we have Hurricane up, granting us huge amounts of DPS. Let's take a look at the jewelry now. On our amulet, we want ranks to Toxic Claws. This is mad important if you want to do huge amounts of damage, which I know you do. Other stats that we are looking for are in Venom for the crit damage, as well as either defensives like on this amulet, or movement speed and cooldown reduction. For aspect, we take the Blurred Beast aspect. This aspect is completely insane. By dashing on poisoned enemies, the Blurred Beast aspect will one-shot anything in our path. Sounds easy, right? That's because it is easy for us paragaming enjoyers. Alright, let's look at the rings. I have a few bad stats on my rings, and still I am blasting, proving that this build is indeed a damn good build. The stats that we actually want are crit chance, vulnerable damage, resource generation, and either crit damage or max life, depending on whether you are a 0 or a hero. Please let me know in the comments below if you are a 0 so that I may assign you to my list of confirmed cucks. For aspects, we want the dire wolf aspect as well as the umbral aspect. The dire wolf aspect is a no-brainer since we shall use Grizzly Rage, and the umbral aspect is necessary since we otherwise will be having issues with spirit regions sometimes, making us unable to blast monsters. Okay, my friends, let's look at the weapon. Here we are prioritizing high DPS. For stats, we want vulnerable damage, willpower, core skill damage, and damage to close enemies or crit damage. The aspect that we want is aspect of retaliation for the increased damage while fortified. We also want an emerald gem for even more crit damage. For totem, we are looking for crit chance, cooldown reduction, defensives, and resource generation. As aspect, we need the rampaging werebeast aspect. Don't forget, however, that you can move around aspects such as this one, as well as the dire wolf aspect, for example, so that you don't need to cry in case you have already imprinted them on another item. All right, folks, only the seasonal gems left then. I also need to remind you to subscribe to the channel since it is very important that you do so. It's the most important thing that you can do right now, so make sure to do it. For gems, we pick the Barber, Ineroxible Force, and Revenge. These are all extremely good and make the game extremely easy for us. Thanks, Blizzard, for helping us out. You know what time it is now, don't you? It's time for my highly intellectual skill tree. Constructing this skill tree cost me all of my 3 brain cells, but don't worry, I will guide you through it so that you can keep yours. We start off by picking Storm Strike for the damage reduction. For 1 extra vulnerable generator, we also pick up Enhanced Storm Strike and Fierce Storm Strike. As core skill, we pick up Shred. We also use Enhanced Shred for increased attack speed and Primal Shred so that we can teleport everywhere as well as getting some more crit damage. We also grab Predatory Instinct for crit chance and Digitigrade Gate for movement speed. For some increased damage, we also choose Heart of the Wild and Wild Impulses. Obviously, we don't want to die, so we pick up a few defensive skills. First off, we want Cyclone Armor, as well as Enhanced and Preserving Cyclone Armor. All of this grants us some nice damage reduction. For more self-healing and attack speed, we pick up Blood Howl. You should also grab Vigilance right here, since it's goddamn sick, granting us 15% damage reduction. Companion skills can suck sacks, so let's instead go to the Wrath skills. Grab Hurricane for Grizzly Rage stacks as well as Enhanced and Savage Hurricane for damage reduction. Another bonus of Hurricane is that it gives us a hecking ton of spirit regeneration. Because of this, we also take Elemental Exposure and Endless Tempest. Now this is a goddamn important skill. Grab this. It's Toxic Claws. This lets us rake up insane amounts of poison, which is damn nice. Envenom is also hecking overpowered, so pick that. For ultimate, we need Grizzly Rage. Also grab these defensives, since we otherwise will die. As ultimate, we grab Ursine Strength. This is damn good, since it grants us 30% multiplicative damage. Yeah, pretty good, right? We also need a few spirit boons. First off, we want Wariness. Next, become best friends with the bird, and grab Scythe Talons and Swooping Attacks. For Wolf, grab Calamity. Lastly, we also grab Masochistic because we are not masochistic, my beloved viewer. Alright folks, before we look at the Paragons, I'm going to learn you how to play the game. It's quite easy. You press Shred. Alright, that's all. Haha, I'm joking. There's a bit more to it, but it's still easy as heck. You simply spam Blood Howl, Grizzly Rage, Hurricane and Cyclone Armor as often as possible. You have seen my skill tree, so you know what these buttons do by now. The only thing about this build that you need to know is how dash works to use the Blurred Beast aspect. You can only do this by dashing with Shred, which happens when you're distant from the enemies. So, if you need to use the Blurred Beast aspect several times to kill a boss, like in this clip right here, you need to move away from the boss to use it. Great, my friends. Now you're an expert on how to be good at the game. Let's finish this marvelous piece of art of a build by looking at my Paragons. The Paragon board we are using is tanky as heck. That's because this build is quite squishy, and it has lower self-sustain than other builds such as Werenado, for example. If you also want to check out the best Werenado build in the world, you can press the link on the screen, by the way. In the starting board, pick up the exploit glyph. This glyph is hecking overpowered and you know it. Oh, you beautiful human watching this video. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Next off, go to the Heightened Malice board. The legendary node is pretty damn good, so we want this. For glyph, we choose Fang and Claw for a hecking ton of damage reduction. Next, go to the Inner Beast board and grab the Undaunted glyph. This grants us both damage and damage reduction while fortified. Since we use a lot of Fortify in our skill tree, having Fortify will be easy peasy. Oh, and don't forget to pick up Ancestral Guidance and the Spirit nodes. These are mandatory and some of the best nodes in this goddamn awesome game. After that, we go to the Thunderstruck board. Here we choose Bane. This is hecking important, so that we can stack up poison damage. Lastly, we go to the Constricting Tendrils board. Here we socket Territorial. This glyph is hecking good, so if you don't have your full Paragons yet, then you can socket this one earlier. Alright folks, that's all for now. I'm putting another sick build guide right here for you to watch. Don't forget to sub to get good, and I'll see you in the next one.